Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Planet Coaster. Shaun builds a blank, and today we're going to build a arrow suspended coaster. I know that I just built one, but that was a recreation, and this is different. And I was looking at like this little ravine that they have in this map, and it just seems like a perfect place for a suspended coaster. So that's what we're doing today, and it would help if I could find it on this. Oh, there it is. Steel Hydra. And let's set it for that. Not that I plan on ever opening up this park to anybody. Doing that with the last park was an honest mistake. Like, I regret it. It was a bad idea as far as like affecting frame rate. So yeah, not doing that again. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, perfect amount of uh, cars per train. And I kind of want to start with a turn just slightly out of the station. We turn on the optional catwalk. If I do it just like that, and then start the lift. Let me see if is that going into it at all in a weird angle. Nope, it looks fine. So yeah, I'm gonna have a really small lift right here at about 30 degrees. That should be just fine. And this isn't gonna be a really tall lift hill. What the heck? I don't know if you guys just saw that, but alright, my screen flickered for a second, and I don't know if it recorded any of that, but if you saw that, then, oops, it wasn't my fault. Alright, so we're about 84, but from the ground, we're not very high up at all, which is good. Alright, I'm gonna, that should be fine, and now I'm gonna turn off the optional catwalk, because I don't need it. And we're gonna go ahead and start a little diving drop down, and I must not have auto tunnel on. There we go. And I want it to go a little bit wider than that. Alright, nice little turn right there, and I'm gonna have it go up into a small left turn, and now we're gonna drop into the ravine because I mean, if you have a ravine, you really want to make good use of the terrain, especially for a suspended coaster where like you can have multiple lifts and it'll kind of like work well with it. Alright. And I don't want this to really turn too much, so I'm going to turn on angle snap just for a moment. And that steepness is honestly all that you would really want. None of the suspended coasters have steep drops. It's usually curving. The steepest drops were probably Big Bad Wolf and Vortex slash what is now the Bat and was once Top Gun. That's kind of confusing, but I mean, they pretty much have the same layout as far as Canada and Ohio go, so for all intents and purposes, they're the same. And let's just have this thing just absolutely like breeze by that cliff, because that should be cool. I'm going to turn off auto tunnel because I don't want it making a dent at all in it, and if I need to like scale that back, I can do it like with the cliff face, not necessarily with the ride. I think the ride itself is fine as it is. Let's make that a little bit more shallow, and we'll go into a turn right here. I want to kind of helix in on itself. Let's go up like that. And that should add a pretty good swing. Let's see, how's that looking? Pretty good. I'm gonna test it, or start testing it, just so I can see how it's handling its speed. I don't want it to lose a whole bunch. A whole munch. I'm hungry, okay? It's an honest mistake. I just want food. I ordered pizza. I don't have it yet. Alright. Now that I'm done talking about wanting pizza, let's have it go right past here. That's obviously going to clip through, which I don't want, but I don't want it clipping through that either. Let's just have you like that. Kind of a weird element for this ride. They don't usually have air hills. I'm going to take a break from that just to see how this handles this. It's got some decent swinging. It's not particularly intense right there. And then into that drop where it swings super hard. Right by the cliff. Decent swinging through there. Into another hard swing. Then up and over where it looked really awkward, but I kind of like that. We're kind of already nearing the edge of this ravine, so I think I'm just gonna have this ride really, like cross over itself multiple times. So we'll go ahead and go back into another turn at 90. And we're gonna go back down, and then another swing right there, but that should... Actually, that looks fine. And then... And then we'll get ready for a second lift section, and then it'll be in this section of the ravine. Which is admittedly less ravine-y than the first half, but I think it should be just fine. Let's see. Yeah, that hill's kind of weird. Oh man, it swung hard right there. And it crashed. I knew it would. Yeah, I think right about now we can start heading into a brake section. And we'll have it start going up right here also to continue hugging the cliff. And it should also help trim off some of the existing speed that it has. So then it kind of flows into the brakes naturally, which will be right here. Friction brakes, optional catwalk, and I will turn on auto tunnel for this. So that's not as weird looking. And now we'll head into a lift. I'll do it at 33.75. And relative height to the station. Alright. That should be good. Actually, no, we'll go for one more and then we'll drop it down. And turn off the optional catwalk. And we're going to go into another steeper drop. Actually, no, I'm going to curve this drop. It seems more natural. This is kind of going to be more ninja-esque, I suppose. Because ninja does have a curving drop. I shouldn't even have it going like that. It should be more like that. And we'll start. You go up. I'm going to actually reduce the banking right there. And turn off auto tunnel. And start banking the opposite direction. And let's see, yeah, that looks good. Maybe 11 degrees up. And just fly right by the lift hill. Going back that way. And let's start heading towards the ravine again. Yeah, that looks pretty subtle. I'll obviously go back through and smooth this out accordingly because it will need smoothing. Let's see. And yeah, that should be good like that. I'm actually gonna go ahead and start smoothing out stuff now. I feel like it'll be less annoying if I do it right now versus later on when I'm like, everything's perfect and the swinging is on point, and then it's like, that wasn't the final, like, anything, and none of it matters. And apparently that part right there is already perfect, so I don't need to touch it. Oh, there it goes. Now it'll let me... Okay, it won't let me do it right there. How about... Nope. Whatever. Guess I don't get to smooth out that part. Can I smooth that part? Yes. And I just killed part of that train. Let's see, stop. There we go. Whoa, no, I want that. That turn right there is really, really bad. Track limits exceeded. Okay. It's probably because it's already at 90 and it wants to overbank it. And the game won't let it. Because in real life, I don't think any of the banking exceeds 90 degrees, so I can't really blame them. Ooh, and I fixed a support right there. That's always nice. I really like this turnaround right here. It seems to flow pretty nicely. Keep it going through there. And there, and there's 3 cars survived, so they get to see how the rest of the ride is. I'm not gonna bother stopping the test and starting. It's just gonna crash on its own anyways, and that's just fine. Oh wow, I really took out a big chunk of that wall right there. I didn't realize that. Oops. See, I feel like that's cutting that corner a bit too much now. Like that right there would probably hurt a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the banking, and if I click that, it might, yeah, there we go. That's more along the lines of what it should be doing. And yeah, that's fine, but this right here should be banked way harder than that. That should be full 90 degrees. And more than likely you would end up having a pretty intense swing that would probably actually invert you. And there's the full train. Okay, that's a bit too much. There we go. Alright, good enough. And now let's start bringing it back. I'm actually going to go ahead and add the block sections now. Optional catwalk. Just a super small section for that. That's all you really need. And then friction brakes, and I'm actually going to have it turn slightly. There we go. And let's add a, actually that looks a bit too big right there. Actually, would that hold a train? No, it wouldn't. So if I make that just a little bit bigger like that, it should be able to hold the train. Alright, there we go. Add a full block section right there, and friction brakes. And then right here, I want it to just slam into the brakes. Let's turn off the catwalk. And whoever did the terrain work for this map, why didn't you smooth any of it? That looks really bad. Oh yeah, that's nice looking right there. Just gonna build this a bit backwards right now, just because it's helpful in figuring out the layout. Like, I don't know what sort of speed it's gonna have right here, but I can kind of make guesses at least. And no, that's off. Let's see, a flyby. Here the lift would be cool. And smooth that out. Alright, now from here I can figure out what I'm going to do next. So we'll start banking that into kind of bigger turnaround. It's pretty much all suspended coasters are, is just big turnarounds and like swoopy sections. Like swoopy sections are like when you're like, oh no, maybe I'll hit something, and you never do, of course, but it looks like it. Can I actually? Oh, I can. Cool. Let's smooth that out. That's pretty much what I wanted to look like, so it did it for me. Thanks, thanks puzzle piece section thing. If I grab this whole turn, will it make it look better? No? Alright. That's fine. That right there is actually too close. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop that down. Now I'll smooth it so it's not ridiculous. That right there should probably be down a little bit more. And now I can start smoothing that out a little bit. How about that one? No? How about this one now? There we go. Wait, no, please don't be like that. Autocomplete. Autocomplete failed. Oh. Not what I expected you to say. No, please don't do that. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep it how it was, even though there's that really, really bad kink right there. Maybe if I lower it to there. Whatever, This ride's weird when it comes to smoothing and getting the track limits exceeded message. Because, I mean, you would think that it would be able to kind of overwrite some things, but it won't. So you're kind of stuck with whatever you get. Also, where is the last car? I don't know. I'm just gonna start and stop the test. And that looks weird. Yeah, that looks better. Yikes. Oh, hey, my pizza's here. Yay, pizza. Nope, I'm not going to get it. There we go. That looks better. No, we're just gonna ride this thing now and see where it goes, because then I'm going to eat, and then like we'll just come back to this. Test. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and test it with 3 trains. There we go. Alright, there we go. Up at the top. Perfect. A nice crispy 70 FPS. Alright, I have to do some terrain work right there. We'll go up this hill. Oh, now I'm at 99 FPS. This game looks a lot better when you're actually running full FPS, unsurprisingly, and it's not advancing. That's kind of weird. Ooh, this turn right here is actually a lot slower than I expected, and it's overbanked. This part's fine. The other part was not. I'll have to fix that after pizza. And there we go, right into the brakes. It actually uses like the perfect amount of speed and kind of crashed at the end. That's not good. Let me go ahead and fix the block sections really quick, and then I'm going to cut away because I want food really, really bad. And y'all could wait. Pizza's important. Get rid of that. There we go. Block section and delete you. Grab you. Excuse me. Thank you. And block section. Still not letting me do it. There we go. Alright. Now, I'm going to be back in a moment because I'm going to eat. And then I'm also going to add trees and stuff to this ride so we can get the experience that it should have. So I'll be back in a second. And we're back. So, as you can see, I placed a bunch of trees in. I lowered this section right here because it just went way too slow. And is that tree floating? Nope, it's just really, really big. I had some trees that were floating, and I got rid of them. A lot of the trees are just growing sideways. I didn't really place the trees with any care or precision at all. I just kind of zoomed out and started clicking in places where I knew it wouldn't hit. So, yeah, there's that. I also gave it a little station. It's pretty basic. It's just wooden with some slats to allow some sunlight in. I think it looks kind of cool, I guess. I need to add more detailing right there, but considering that this isn't a part that's actually going to be open to guests, I kind of did more work than I actually needed to, and it was more of just to make it look a little bit more like a finished product than what it actually is. But anyways, let's go ahead and go into the final POV, and then we'll go over the stats really quick, and then that'll be it. So, alright. We're going to start off with our nice right-hand turn into the lift. We'll speed up the lift. Down the actual first drop. Swing real hard. Go back into the ravine. The one airtime moment that this ride has. Oh, just kidding. I guess we go through those trees. Oops. And might clip that, I'm not sure. Get into the brakes right before this lift. I'll speed up this one too. And down we go. Section still goes kind of slow, it doesn't lose too much speed. If I add more like trees and stuff, it would look a little bit better. Really hard swing right there. Into a calm section through that tree. Now we head into the final turn and rise into the brakes. And there's the brakes. So yeah, that's the ride. I'm not gonna name it, because I didn't think of what I would even call it. Actually, let's call it Ridge Runner. Because, you know, there's ridge and it goes through it. Like running. Ridge Runner. Yeah, super creative name. Shut up. My girlfriend's making commentary on my name. It's, even though it's brilliant. But anyways, let's go over the stats really quick. So it's excitement rating of 4.16, fear of 275, and nausea is the only thing in the green at 0.67. I guess it could be more exciting for how long it is. It's well over a mile long at 6,200 feet, and I think a mile is like 5,459 feet or something like that. I don't remember how long it is, but it's somewhere. You just made that up. My girlfriend said 5,480, and I'm pretty sure she just made it up. Because, I mean, it's slightly different than what I said, so it's probably just what she's doing. But anyways, this ride's also ridiculously fast for a suspended coaster. It hits 62. I don't even think Eagle's Fortress, which is now closed, ever hit that speed, and I think it was regarded as the fastest suspended coaster, or at least most intense. So, I don't know. This thing's a bit unrealistic in that respect, but I think as far as the elements that it does do, it's pretty spot on. There's some elements that I did take from other things, like that drop is very much inspired by Big Bad Wolf, where there's one section that I pretty much ripped off of Ninja, and I think it's not that turn, it's this one right here. And this is where it kind of dives right next to Jetstream. So yeah, I ripped that off from it because it's the only suspended coaster that I've been on, so I'm pretty much always basing my suspended coasters off of Ninja in some way, although this one does have 2 lifts, so I guess it's a bit more like Big Bad Wolf than anything else. But yeah, that's enough ranting about that. So it also has a max vertical G-force of 6.64, which I'm sure is only for a second, so it wouldn't cause you to black out, but it's still pretty intense for a suspended coaster, and I'm assuming that it hits it right here. In fact, if we were to go into heat maps and go into vertical G-forces, yeah, it shows 5.97, but that's not the darkest point. The darkest point is right there, where I'm assuming that's where the 6 is. All the other turns are actually just fine, except for that one. And excitement rating, it never really hits green at all, except for a few small sections, which is kind of weird. I guess they want you to build it like you would any other coaster with air hills, but in reality, this is what a suspended coaster would be like, just a bunch of turns, which guests in this game don't find exciting, so I don't really know how you build one of these that's popular unless you have a super high prestige rating with like scenery and stuff. So I guess it's kind of mandatory that you have trees and whatnot around it. Fear, it's green except for a few sections where it's not because it's too scary, it's because it's too boring, which doesn't make sense because of the excitement rating, where actually no, that does make complete sense. Never mind, I take that back. Nausea, green all the way, we already knew that. Speed, the highest point I'm assuming is right there. Yep, 62. That's a bit much. I didn't realize it would go that fast through there. In hindsight, I probably could have had it drop down and then rise up right here and work with the canyon cliffs a bit more. But I didn't, and I like this layout, so I'm not going to change it. Now back over to the results. The most interesting thing is that the inversion count is 3, which means that there are some turns where it actually banks so hard that the carriages go beyond 90 degrees, and I think one of them for sure is the first turn around after the drop. And I want to say this turn also. I was in a tree, so I couldn't really tell. Possibly there. I don't know. They're around here. But I'm kind of proud that I caused a ride that you can't invert to invert. That's an accomplishment right there. Anyone could make a roller coaster that's meant to go upside down, but to make one that doesn't go upside down, that's an accomplishment. But anyways, that's it for this episode. I hope you all liked it. I don't know what I'm going to do next time, but I'll figure something out. I kind of just want to build weird stuff in this park. Like I already have like the Japanese jet coaster, which is absolutely terrible, but I love it because it sucks. Just look at it going up that lift hill at 4 miles per hour, barely making it around turns. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna build a bunch of weird stuff that nobody wants me to build in this park. So yeah, you can look forward or dread that. But anyways, thank you all very much for watching, and goodbye.